Joins us live now from Hermanesky in western Ukraine. Andrea, could the power cut at Chernobyl lead to another radioreactive leak?
This is a very complicated question, and so the situation is as follows. There is one universally acknowledged fact, which is that the power station is fully cut off electricity. But from this fact, there are two very different interpretations that we have heard so far. Because the Ukrainian side, the state energy company Ukrenergo, is saying that because there is a storage of fuel assemblies which have to be kept at a cold temperature, if this is not done, it could lead to an actual leak of radiation. And Ukrenergo is saying that there are generators working right now to keep the assemblies cooled down, but they will only last 48 hours. And this means that the situation is very dire and that the ceasefire has to be agreed upon very quickly so that the repair personnel can get into the station and repair the power line. At the same time, IAEA, the Atomic Energy Agency, is saying that they are not, in fact, seeing a critical impact, a critical threat of a radiation leak. It is also probably worth saying that the head of IAEA has been trying to get to the Chernobyl nuclear power station for a few days now. So the agency has been trying to make an agreement with Russia so that people from the agency can get into the station. But the Russian side has not allowed that yet. So it is very hard to tell what exactly is happening, but the situation is very scary, both for Ukraine and people across Europe and potentially globally. Because if the radiation leak does happen, this will have consequences for the whole world.
Now, President Zelensky desperately appealing for a no-fly zone. Why is NATO and the West hesitant?
Yes, the no-fly zone has been a very hot topic over the past week and even more. But the whole idea of the no-fly zone would be that NATO would deploy its own fighter jets to patrol the skies in Ukraine and take down any planes that are flying in the Ukrainian skies, so mostly Russian planes in this case. However, this would basically mean that NATO comes into the war as one of the parties, and NATO and the West in general is very hesitant to do that because they don't want to trigger reaction from Russia, from Vladimir Putin, which could be a nuclear option. So what happened over the past 24 hours is that yesterday in the very late evening, Poland announced that they are ready to transfer a number of MiG-29 planes that they have to a U.S. Base in Germany, so that they could be transferred from there to Ukraine, so that Ukrainian pilots can use them to make the sky over Ukraine safer. And just as an aside, why they need these old planes is because Ukrainian pilots can actually fly them, while learning to fly any other planes would take time. So yesterday evening, on the social media in Ukraine, it was very widely celebrated that the country is about to get these new fighter planes, and then maybe we will have less shelling and less air raid sirens, and civilians will be safer. But however, in the morning, we woke up to the news that the U.S. said that this announcement was not agreed with them. They were, as they said, surprised by this announcement, and they are not actually authorizing this transfer. So the whole idea right now seems to be that the West and NATO, they want to give Ukraine arms without actually giving Ukraine arms, so that they do not trigger this reaction from Russia. But they are yet to find any way to do it this way, and so there is literally very little progress right now on these negotiations.
Well, many thanks for that, Andrea. We apologize for the technical fault with our audio. Andrea Delgula speaking to us from Hermanesky in western Ukraine.